Hey everybody, how you doing today? This is Pokebondo. It's going to be my first video, just giving a little bit of an introduction about myself, as well going into some details on how to properly do buying, selling, trading, Pokemon cards in specific. Even though it can be used for many other, trading cards on Twitter, Facebook, things along those lines, kind of the basics to get you started and set up. Alright guys, so for a little brief opening about myself, my name is James. I go by Pokebondo. You might see me on Twitter, on Instagram. One of the two things I focus on most is putting out content of nice quality photos of my cards, of my collection, things along those lines. And to give a little bit of backstory how I got back into this, around the start of 2019, I started going into my GameStop, local shops, stuff like that, finding cards here and there. I've been purchasing them occasionally, not really finding too many, but kind of got the fire started, kindled a little bit, maybe even. And from there, started learning more, watching more videos, watching more content, and it's got me to the point where now I'm actually starting a YouTube channel, so it's pretty cool. Shout out to a lot of the great PokeTubers right now that are making awesome content, long form and short form, that give you a lot of great information that get you started, get you going, give you the information that you may not be able to find otherwise. But getting back into things now, it's been awesome. Met a lot of awesome people in the community. Look forward to meeting even more, and look forward to making more videos like this that can help you guys get better at buying and selling. So we're gonna get into this video right now. Hope you enjoy. If you do like, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if it's helping you, and we're gonna be making more of this stuff as we go. Thank you guys. Alright, so let's talk about some of the terms that you might be seeing while you're actually buying, trading, selling, things along those lines while you're on these platforms like Twitter, like Facebook. You probably won't be seeing it too much on things like eBay and other selling websites. But to start off, we have what's called our bubble mailer with tracking. You'll definitely see this hyphenated or shortened as to BMWT. Generally, people will have that listed for higher end cards, so that while you're sending out your cards, you're going to have them more protected, something that you want to keep in good condition. And then another term that people will generally use is PWE, which stands for plain white envelope. So these are going to be as simple as your generic envelope that you would send mail out in, typically around $1. And for those items in specific, going to be a little bit on the cheaper end of cards, things that you wouldn't necessarily want to keep as protected. So those are the two main terms that you generally will see. Alright, so alongside having your bubble mailer with your white envelope, your stamps, it's going to be important that if you're ever getting items shipped in, saving a lot of your top loaders, having a lot of sleeves for those future items being sent out. Because the last thing someone's going to want is their card sent out like this, right in the bubble mailer. That card's going to get damaged, it's probably going to get bent, it's going to get all messed up while it's in the post being delivered. So generally, and this is pretty common knowledge though, you're going to top load, or you're going to sleeve your card, throw it in a top loader, and then from there, you have a few different options. You could either put some tape on the top to make sure it doesn't pop out, or you could get a team bag, throw it right in the team bag, put it over the top. And then generally, some people will send out things like this, just with the top loader. Not too bad. I mean, if you're doing it in the plain white envelope, it's a pretty cheap card. Some people will do that. But one thing else that I like to keep on hand at all times are my old boxes. So I recycle a lot of these old boxes. I'll cut off the back, and I will use those specifically to wrap around the top loader, throw some tape on it to give it that extra bit of sturdiness, so that when it's going in the bubble mailer, you're not having issues. So now that we got the card top loaded, everything in here, went ahead, cut out some of these panels. Like I said, this is just going to be for that extra protection. Throw them in there like this, throw some tape over it, have that all sealed up nice, and then from there, when you put it inside the bubble mailer, it's going to be a lot more firm inside, less likely that anything could get damaged. And in the long haul, it's a very cheap, effective way to make sure that the card stays protected, while also making sure that the buyer who is purchasing your card is going to be happy and satisfied with the item once it comes in. If you have a card that gets delivered and it gets damaged, as a seller, that's on you if you didn't take the proper measurements to actually get the card there safe and protected. Also do this with a plain white envelope. It's going to be the same situation, just tape that up, put it in the plain white envelope. Now the thing is, you can't put too many cards in a plain white envelope, otherwise the post office may not accept it because it's either too thick or too heavy. So you have to do that, sparingly. 1 to 3 cards generally is the max that I would ever say that you can send out with a plain white envelope. If you send out a couple throughout the row, maybe a little bit more. But one thing that's very important is the stamps and postage that you use. So these stamps that I have here are actually meant specifically, in my case, for sending out cards. They allow for a little bit thicker of an item to be sent out as opposed to a regular stamp, which only lets paper go. Those stamps will cover for something such as a trading card being sent. And for $1 per stamp, essentially, it's a little bit less than $1 per stamp to make sure that your items are getting sent out, get there pretty quickly, and overall good experience for both the buyer and the seller. Now the next thing that I think is going to save you a lot of time and a lot of effort is using an external service to create your labels. I'm not affiliated with this website Pirate Ship in any way, but I've been using them basically since I started buying and selling cards to be able to create the label at my house, print it out myself, and generally the rates that they are offering much cheaper than if you were to go to the post office, so you do save a few dollars that way. Very simple. All you would do, make an account though, you create a shipping label, type in the person's name. You got Joe Schmo right there. Say they live on 100 Main Street. It'll give you kind of all the list. You can type it in. Come down here. For this instance, we're going to be doing envelope with a padded envelope, things along those lines. And then you would list the dimensions. So for the bubble mailer I'm using, we got 6x5. Put that in. Generally the cards are around 3 ounces. And what that will do from there, once you get the rate, so that now that you got the rates, you can see right here it has the person's information. The first class package for USPS, which is going to be used specifically really for the bubble mailers, it's going to come to $3.86, where normally it says around retail is $5, so it's $1.14. And although it's not saving you a ton of money, those dollars add up if you're doing a lot of sales over the course of a couple of weeks, months, whatever the case may be. And then from there, you just hit buy label. You can have that printed out directly, emailed to somewhere else, printed out somewhere else, and then from there you're just going to cut it out, tape it onto the front of the bubble mailer, and you'll be all set to go to send this out at your post office, which saves you a lot of time because all you have to do then is drop it off, they scan it, and send it on its way. Alright, so a lot of people have a tough time getting into wanting to sell cards because they're really not too sure how to go about it. What's the best way? What's the safest way? What's the quickest way? And what's also the cheapest way? Which, just like myself, and I'm sure plenty others, we're looking for the best way to save some money while we're also making money. So that's going to be the quick tutorial for today. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. Like I said, this is going to be my first video, so kind of new to this. We're going to be editing the video a little bit later on, getting it up there on our page soon. And I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back for more. This is only our first video, but going forward, we are certainly looking to make some more videos on how to help you do better at buying and selling cards. Thank you guys. Have a good one.